Good morning, Year 4s. So today's maths lesson is to divide using formal written methods. So our vocabulary for today is multiples, known facts, equal, hundreds, tens, and ones. And our steps to success are to recall methods that help me to divide, setting out my sum correctly, using mental methods on known facts, or regrouping accurately. So to start off with, we'll do our 5-minute starter. So pause the video and have a go at those. Okay, and then these are your answers. Okay, well done. Right, today's big question. There are 96 maths books that have arrived at school. They need to be shared between 3 classes. How many books will each class receive? Okay, so I'd like you to think about, again, using the bar model to help you. So this is an incomplete bar model. See what information that you've got that you can fill in. Think about what sum you're going to be doing. How are you going to work it out? And then the answer sentence at the bottom. So pause the video and have a go at that question. Okay, so working through this question, I would have realized that it was division because I've got the word shared. And I know that if I did my bar model, they needed to be shared between 3 classes. So I'd draw my 3 classes. I also know that I've got the whole number already. So 96. I mean, I've got the whole number and I need to share it between 3. I am dividing. So my division sum would have been 96 divided by 3 equals something. Okay, so yesterday we learned to divide through partitioning. So some of you might have chosen that method, which was obviously absolutely fine. So if you had partitioned it, we would have got 90 and we would have got 6. Then we would have done 90 divided by 3. So if we've got 90 divided by 3, we could have used our known facts. So we could have done 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 90 divided by 3 is 30. And then our next one would have been 6 divided by 3. Equals 2. Then we've got to add those 2 back together. So 30 and 2 is 32, and that is our answer. So now we could fill that into our part. So this class gets 32 books. This class gets 32 books. And this class gets 32 books. And then we need to answer the question. So how many books will each class receive? Each class will receive 32 books. Okay, so that is how your page should have looked. Obviously, depending on how you work that out, that's absolutely fine. So today we're going to look at a different way of dividing. So this partitioning way, we're going to take a little bit further. Okay, so we've got the same question, 96 divided by 3. So we know what the answer is, but we're going to look at what method we can use as well to help us. So today's method is called the bus stop method. Now, some of you might have remembered the bus stop method from year 3, but we are just going to do it again because we might have forgotten, or we might have been in lockdown in year 3 when you were meant to learn this as well. Okay, so we draw a bus stop. That's why it's called the bus stop method, because it kind of looks like a bus stop where people would wait for the bus to come and fetch them. So this is like a big bus stop. And then what we do is we put the whole number, so 96, into the bus stop. And then the number we are dividing by goes on the outside. So you could kind of see this whole big bus stop as like a division sign. Okay, so 96 divided by 3. Okay, that's our first step. Then we need to divide these numbers by 3. So this is the only method where we actually start in the bigger column. We don't start at the ones. So in this case, we only have tens and ones. So we're going to start with the tens. We start with the first number that is closest to the 3. So we need to do 3 divided by 9. So I'm just going to draw a little line. So 3 and 9. And if you want to draw these lines to help you, that's fine. So we know that 3 goes into 9 3 times. So then we put the 3 up here. Okay. But we've also got to remember that that is actually a 90. So what we're actually doing is 90 divided by 3. So it's as if we were partitioning it. That's why we did that partitioning method. So if I just get this division sum sign copied. So it's actually like saying 90 divided by 3. Okay, so we know that that's 30. So we put the 3 up there and then the 0 would go here. Okay, then we do the next one. So now we move to the ones column. So 6 divided by 3. We know that 6 divided by 3 is 2. So then we put that up here. So it's also, you've got to make sure that you're matching the correct columns. You can't just put 2 over there, and you can't just put the 3 over there. Okay, when you're dividing in the tens column, the answer needs to be in the tens column. So if that 3 is in the tens column, we know it stands for 30. And if that 2 is in the ones column, we know it's standing for 2. Okay, so the answer is 32. So this is what we call the bus stop method. Okay, so now I'd like you to have a go at doing this bus stop method with this sum. Okay, so this one you might have found a bit trickier. So this is when we need to regroup. So I'm going to go through this one as well. So even if you had a go and you didn't get it, that's fine. But it didn't really show you that one. I just wanted to give you a challenge. So again, you draw your bus stop. You put your biggest number, your whole number inside the bus stop. And then your number that you're dividing by on the outside. Okay, and then we start with the closest column to the number that we're dividing by. So in this case, we've only got tens and ones. So we're starting with the tens column. Okay, and it's always good to do your multiples of 6 underneath or whatever you're dividing by just to help you. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 32, or 30 rather. Okay, and you could keep going if you wanted to, but we'll just go as far as 36. Okay, so 6 goes into 7. So we know that if we look here, 7 is not a multiple of 6. But that's okay, but it still goes in once. So 6 goes into 7 one time. Okay, then how many will be left over? So if we had to draw 6 circles, or 7 circles, okay, let's draw 7 circles. Let's change their color to red. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is always a good way to work it out if you're stuck. So we know that we need to put 6 into the number 7. So then we can circle our 6. Okay, because that's how many times 6 goes into 7, once. Only got circling 6 of them, but only once. But there's still this one left over. We can't just ignore that one. That one needs to be carried over. It needs to be regrouped. So then we take that one and we put it next to the 18. So it's a small little number next to the 18. Okay. So that is now a new number, which is 18. And then we can say, okay, 6 goes into 18, how many times? And then we can look underneath and we can see 6, 12, 18. So it goes in 3 times. So then our answer is 3. And make sure again it goes above the ones column. Okay, so now total, our final answer is 13. Okay, so there's this is the bus stop method. This one, you didn't need to regroup because this number 3 went into 90 and 6 perfectly. So there was no regrouping. This one had regrouping because the number 6 did not go into 7 perfectly. Only went in ones, but there was still 1 left over, which we had to carry to the ones column. And then we could divide 6 into 18, which was 3. So there's 2 different ways, the regrouping way and the not regrouping way. And you will automatically know it's regrouping when you can see that that number does not go into that times table. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 examples to do. Let me just change this one for you. Okay, so these ones are all going to need regrouping. So I'd like you to think about what we're going to do when we are regrouping a number. Remember, you can draw those little dots to help you as well. So pause the video and then we'll go through them after you have completed your 3. Okay, perfect. So if we go through the first one, we know that we have to put 95 into the bus stop. And then number 5 on the outside. Okay, then the first step is we have to divide 9 by 5, or 90. You mustn't forget that that's actually 90 divided by 5. So if we want to draw 9 dots to help us, because we know that 5 is not going to go into 9, because if we write out the 5 times table underneath, 5, 10, 15, you can already see that 9 is not a multiple of 5, so it's not going to go into 9 equally. So we do know that it's going to go in once, but how many will be left over? So drawing the dots is always a good idea, just so we know that we're going to accurately get the answer. Okay, so if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 9 dots. If I circle 5 of them, because I know that 5 is going to go in here at least once, I can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 left over. So I can't circle 5 again because 5 is not going to go in here again because we've only got 4. So 5 goes into 9 once, because I've circled it once, and there are 4 left over. So then we need to regroup those. We need to take them to the ones column because there's not enough space for them in the tens column. Okay, so let's just do a little one up here and move him in. Okay, well 4, that should be 4. So there's 4 left over, so the 4 goes there. All right, then we can say 45 divided by 5. So we know that 45 is in the 9 times table, but if we had to carry on with our multiples, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, we know that 5 is going to go into 45. So that goes in 9 times. So then above there, we will do the number 9. So our final answer is 19. Okay, then we do the same with this one. So in the bus stop is 85. And on the side of the bus stop is 5. Okay, and again, we draw our multiples underneath. So we divide in by 5 again. So we can do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and we can go further if we need to later on. Okay, so we need to see is 80, but we're just going to say 8 to make it easier for ourselves. 8 divided by 5. So again, I can draw my 8 circles this time, so not 9. So let's see if I can copy a circle. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then I can circle 5 of those because we're dividing by 5. Okay, so we can see that 5 goes into 8 once because we've circled it once. So we can put 1 up here. But we can see we can't circle 5 again because we've only got 3. So these are what's left over, these 3. So we're going to have to put that, we're going to have to regroup it and put it in front of the 5. So now that becomes 35. So now we can see 35 divided by 5. And then we can move down here to our multiples. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then 35 would be next. And we can see that that is 7. So we put 7 up here. So our total answer, our final answer is 17. Okay, and then this last one, you probably could have actually used known facts to work this out, but we'll just do it using the bus stop method for extra practice. So 80 divided by 4. Okay, so first one we do is 8 divided by 4. So can 4 go into 8? So we write our multiples of 4 now, not 5 anymore, because we're dividing by 4. So we can do 4, 8, 12, and already we can see, oh yes, it does go into 8. It is a multiple of 8. So 4 and 8, it goes in twice. Okay, in this one, when you have 0 divided by 4, the answer is going to be 0. So we didn't need to do any working out for that. Okay, so your answer is 20. So when you have a 0 and you're dividing it by a number, the answer is always going to be 0. And we need to put that in as well. Okay, so this example did not need regrouping because 4 goes into 80 perfectly. So we didn't need to draw these dots to help us. Just our multiples at the bottom. Okay, so I hope that you understand. We will definitely be doing this again this week so we can get it properly. So if you didn't understand this lesson, just have a go. And then tomorrow and Wednesday, well, tomorrow is Wednesday, you will have some more examples of these to do until we can get them, till we know them off by heart. So your challenges today, so the bronze are not doing bus stop. So these are Ms. Hand's group, unless Ms. Hand's group would like to have a go at bus stop, that's absolutely fine. So silver is just doing the bus stop method, and then gold is the bus stop method with some problem solving and reasoning as well. Okay, so the bronze challenge, you are sharing. So the question will say to share this between 2 people, what is the answer? Share between 4 people, what is the answer? You're going to work through those, and then there's a second page as well. And then the silver, you're working through these questions, drawing the bus stop method. So make sure that you've done your bus stop. Always go back and look at the examples if you need to as well to help you. And then gold, you're doing the same questions, but then you've got 2 different reasoning and problem solving questions to help you. Okay, and here are bronze answers, silver answers, and then the gold answers. Okay, so go back into the video, find your challenge that you're going to do, and have a go at using the bus stop method.